I am who I am because of you. If it had not been for you, tell me where would I be? I was lost and sinking deep in sin, but you reached out your hand and rescued me.
What did you like best about today's service?
It was very funny.
No one else can do the things you do.
What's it like coming back to church?
It was an effort, but once I get through that door, I felt so much better.
I am who I am because of you.
Hi, so this is the Holy Trinity Tulse Hill electoral roll report for 2021. So the parish electoral roll is the list of people who are eligible to take part in the annual church meeting. They can stand as members of the church council or nominate and vote for people who want to stand for those positions. Anyone who lives in the parish or comes to church regularly can join the electoral roll. This year, 2021, there were 120 people on the electoral roll. 1 person left, 1 person died, and 3 people joined.
No one else can do the things you do. Oh God, there's no one else but you.
Hi, this is our Parish Church Council PCC Secretary's Report. As regular members will know, normally a lot of this is covered and much more detail as well is normally in our Transformation magazine, but as I'm sure you appreciate, we've not been able to produce this year in the normal way. So who are your PCC? Well, there's the clergy. They're automatically on the PCC. That's Richard and William, and Rita Gloria, plus our church wardens, Malcolm and Faye. Other automatic members are our Deanery Synod reps, which are Jamie and Adam, and then directly elected are up to 12 people. So the directly elected people are currently myself, David Jousey, I'm secretary, Georgie Snyder, who's our treasurer, Jim Maddox, operations manager and assistant to treasurer, alongside Hendy, Lionel, Nicole, Sarah and Gary, and we've currently got 4 vacancies. Now the term of office is 3 years, and those 3 in red, Hendy, Lionel and Nicole, are coming to the end of their term this year, but they're eligible to restand if they so wish. So what does the PCC do? Well, we oversee basically the activities of the church. So that's the church fellowship, the main building, the church grounds, the community hall, our finances, policies, and key thing, supporting and encouraging our leadership and our ministry teams. And we normally meet about 8 to 9 times a year. Lots of fellowship ministries normally go on in the church, from mission partners through to our hospital ministry. But as I'm sure you're all aware of the COVID restrictions, many of those regular activities have been on hold for the last year. Although in the background, some things have continued. So phase 4 has continued within COVID guidelines, which has meant much more limited number of volunteers, but they've done some great progress there. Some house groups have been able to continue, albeit those online using things like Zoom. The social club have managed to meet on occasion out in Brockwell Park when the government guidelines have allowed. There are a few things we did manage to achieve face-to-face, and one of those was the farewell to Nick and Isabel at a service at the end of September. Nick, of course, came to the end of his curacy training with us and is now a fully fledged vicar up north of London. Community money has continued with some client meetings following safe protocols. And the other thing we've tried to do as a PCC this year is keep in touch through things like Christmas cards and Easter cards and the video newsletter. Also continued is all the finance work. So the PCC has been very closely monitoring monthly income and expenditure, plus making our annual funding pledge to support our diocese. And as I'm sure you appreciate, we've done lots and lots and lots of work on COVID-related policies, making services in church when we've been allowed to do them as COVID safe as possible. We've set up the online booking system, and we've had to amend our plans a lot as the year's gone on. As you know, government guidance has changed, church guidance has changed, and we've had to very much amend those policies as we go. And that's the life in the church. Thank you.
and gentlemen, welcome to Luigi, my clean.
Never thought that you could love someone like me, to give up your life for me.
Tell me what you like about being in the Kids at Home band, Lucy.
It's fun and it helps me learn about more stuff about the Bible.
Call me your very own. So grateful for your love.
On behalf of the church wardens, it's my pleasure to give you an update on the fabric of the church. First of all, please can I thank everyone who's been involved in any way in looking after the church building. Thank you, Mary, for the cleaning that you were doing earlier in 2020. Jim, for all your behind-the-scenes organising of contractors and the like. And Nicole, for all you've done too. Thank you to those who've helped with the church gardening. Thank you, Carey, and before you, Nick, for masterminding the host teams for our in-person services when we've been able to have them. And thank you to everyone who's a member of one of those host teams. Thank you, particularly Richard and Nicole, but also Tom and Adam and others for all that you've done on the building site. As in previous years, we've tried to ensure that the church fabric remains sound. During 2020, we carried out some roof repairs. We had the gutters cleaned. We also did some work on the lightning conductor. We replaced some taps and one of the water heaters in the toilets. We installed lots of LED lights. On the building project, a lot of work has gone into the apps and the first floor insulation. We've also started work on the electrics there. Solar panels have been hooked up, so the church is getting a small amount of income whilst using virtually no electricity from the grid. So thank you very much again for all that you've done to assist with the church building.
Someone like me, to give up your life for me. Yeah.
Good morning, Holy Trinity Church family. This is the Church Warden and Safeguarding Report. Firstly, although Holy Trinity Church has not been opened, safeguarding and us continuing to be a safe church has remained our priority. Nicole and Richard have been vigilant in maintaining risk assessments whilst carrying out works on the straw bale build. And it's great to report that there has been no on-site incidents. Prior to Nick leaving Holy Trinity, he had put together a COVID safety cleaning protocol rota and a WhatsApp group that is now managed by Kari Radcliffe. This was to ensure that the church had a tight cleaning regime and anyone attended felt safe and our hygiene processes reduced the risk of infection alongside operating track and trace. Nicole has been instrumental in backup safety and hygiene protocol to minimise any incidents of transmission and the general health and safety operations at church. Church groups have been meeting outside, and as restrictions are beginning to ease, we will be guided by the diocese and government as to when we can open the church completely. I am also pleased to report that there has been no safeguarding incidents from March 2020 to date, that's within church groups and otherwise. With the ease of restriction, increased church attendance and restarting of groups, some DBSs, previously known as CRBs, may have expired. I will be contacting individuals personally, letting you know of your current DBS status. Can I now take this opportunity to thank Malcolm Kemp for his support as he steps down from his role as one of the church wardens. I cannot thank Malcolm enough for his kindness and the generosity he demonstrates when a job or a report needs to be done. He has great organisational skills and is an asset to our church family. I will miss you, Malcolm. So, on that note, can we put our hands together and give Malcolm a round of applause for his work as church warden and ministry, and the other things that he does, but generally his commitment to Holy Trinity Church and his various roles. I'll miss you, Malcolm.
So grateful for your love. Yeah. No one can do the things you do for me. Yeah. No one else but you. Never thought that you could love someone like me. To give up your life for me, yeah. You even go on and call me your very own. So grateful for your love.
Good morning, everyone. Here we are again at our annual APCM and the finance presentation. And I'm really pleased to report that for the 7th year running, the funds, the unrestricted funds, have ended on a positive note, and we've had a balance of £747. Now, this is really excellent news, especially because in June, when we had a PCC meeting, we were forecasting there might be a deficit of something between £5,000 to £7,000. But as it turned out, we have a balance of £747. So well done to everybody. And that's largely due to income being much more than we expected and expenditure, again, being less than we expected. And that was, I think, due to COVID and obviously not so many of our activities going on. For instance, we didn't use as much heating, we didn't use as much lighting, but it was really a positive note. So thank you to everybody who contributed. But I would also like to say, praise the Lord, who has oversight of all that goes on with our funds. But Georgie is now going to give you a bit more detail of all the different funds and figures.
I will now present the financial report for the Church for the year ended the 31st of December 2020. We start with our main restricted funds, which on the first slide are Imagine, Youth Ministry and Tulse Hill Community Advice Centre. On each account is given the balance at the end of 2019, adding income and deducting expenditure for the year 2020, which gives us the balances at the end of 2020. Slide 2 continues with the main restricted accounts, which are Phase 4 Appeal and General Building, and as before give balances at the end of 2019, the income and expenditure for 2020, and the balance at the end of 2020. Also on this slide is the updated figures for Phase 4 Appeal as at the 30th of April 2021, which is £280,808. On slide 3 gives the other accounts and their balances, including the main restricted funds, which are Senior Citizens, Trinity Social Club and Trinity Tulse. Slide 4 gives details of our unrestricted funds, which are used for day-to-day running costs for the Church. It gives the balance at the start of 2020, our income and expenditure for 2020, and the balance at the end of the year, which is £47,211. The figures in brackets are comparative figures for the year 2019. As stated, this is the 7th consecutive year that our income has exceeded our expenditure, for which we give thanks to God. 91% of our income is the annual giving of our church members, including gift aid tax refunds, and the monies payable to the diocese parish share amounted to 58% of our overall expenditure. In what has been a difficult and challenging year for us all, we give a big thank you to everyone who gave so generously. We will continue to robustly monitor our expenditure and manage our money with prudence. This is particularly relevant as COVID-19 is still affecting church finances for this year. Slide 5 gives significant points for the remainder of 2020. Donations to all our funds need to be maintained and increased wherever possible, together with continuous generous donations to Phase 4 Bail Project and the General Building Fund, which is for the major repairs and enhancements of our church building. Finally, slide 6 are items for your consideration as we continue to rely more and more on the members of our church family who give regularly and prayerfully. We currently have 57 members who make regular donations by standing orders or direct credit. This method is the most efficient and sure way to make your donations. If you are a taxpayer, we can claim back 25p for every £1 you donate from the Inland Revenue. We currently have 45 members signed up to this valuable scheme. If you require any further information, please speak to myself, Georgie, or Peter, or Jim. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Georgie, for that presentation of very encouraging figures for 2020. And we're almost at the end of the finance presentation, but I'd like to finish by thanking everybody for their generous giving during a very difficult and challenging year, and for the support for all our different funds. I'd also like to thank Peter, who looks after the gift aid payments, and also Brian Hoare, who, when there has been income in church or cheques sent, has gone to the bank and paid that in. So thank you so much, Peter and Georgie and Brian.
The things you do for me, oh, oh, no one else but you said. Moko beni tamabo. Oh no, yeah. Oh no, yeah. Oh, no one else but you. Oh no, yeah. Oh no, yeah. Moko beni tamabo. Non choda. Oda fe no bono, yeah. Oh no, yeah. Oh no, yeah.
So amazing, it's better than life itself. I was lost, but now I am found. Father, you found me. I'm so glad that you did. Come on. But not yet.